much on self-love that you've forgotten to like yourself. I had this realization recently. I was being curious about my search for intensity and all that I'd done. For most of my life, everything's been quite intense. And I was looking into it with grace and openness, wondering what it was all about. And I realized that the intensity and everything that I was doing was to stop myself from feeling how much I didn't like myself. I was like, what? That's so not nice. No wonder you don't feel liked by so many people. No wonder you searched for validation for so much of your life. No wonder you sacrificed yourself for others for so many years because you didn't actually like yourself. Years spent drinking, numbing through, I don't know, everything. Just to not sit with that I don't like you feeling. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I realized that this intensity was exhausting. The intensity is exhausting. Living intensity is exhausting. And intensity is a whole other topic, but what I actually needed was soft and slow so that I could allow myself to feel liked, that I could like myself, like the choices I make, like the daily things that I got up to, it not all feel so strict and intense all the time. For the last 5 years, I've been on this big spiritual journey, but for the last 2.5, it's been extremely monastic and disciplined and rigorous mind training. I've really put myself through my paces and had this intention to grow and, come sort of as self-realized or self-aware as I can possibly. It's been my focus and my priority. And I felt such deep, intense, beautiful, profound love within. Been so moved by it. I've had so many incredibly intense experiences of divinity, of my true self, of just with life. And almost like drawing the outline of a painting in big black felt pen, there's a really thick, clear outline. That's the love. The liking feels like the detail, the soft specks of color, the fragrance, the liking feels really important for embodiment of essence. And I think we don't focus on self-like enough. There's so much focus on self-love. Do you love the person that you are becoming? Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love how I feel. I love so much of it. But, I've been told by people that not only, was I not loved, I wasn't liked. And I was told again recently by someone, I love you, but I don't like you. And it got me thinking that they're separate, that you can be loved and not liked. And therefore, they're both equally important, but for peace. Not that you need to be liked by anyone, because someone telling you they love you, they don't like you, that's kind of okay. Sometimes you're making choices that don't resonate with other people. The love's still there. Love's always there, whether we're aware of it or not. But the liking is the sort of, the detail. But the liking with yourself, I think, is really important. It doesn't matter if other people don't like you. There's always going to be There's always going to be someone somewhere that doesn't like you, or it's not liking you, that isn't comfortable or doesn't resonate with the choices you're making, the decisions what you're putting out there, or how it sits within themselves. But liking with yourself, I do want to like me. I feel like I need to for peace. So what does liking myself look like? How do you find that? For me, this idea of soft and slow, that the liking is cultivated in this softness and slowness. And that feels very feminine, the soft, slow creativity. Liking feels like inspiration. It feels like blossoms, like blooms, like sprouts. Just trying to visualize. Slow down the pace and get comfortable there. To soften. Say that preparation for meditation is more important than meditation itself, because when you prepare well, meditation just happens. And I think the big intense experiences of divinity come from this big intense preparation. And I think everything is important. Everything is God. It's a universal intelligence in all parts, in all places. And if I see my one job, the little spark of divinity within me, is to love every bit of this human that I was given. To love the person who sits in meditation and connects deep within, but also love the person who didn't do that, who did still know joy, who did still, I don't think I knew that much peace, but who did still have connection, who did still find things that made life worth living. The person who made choices sometimes to survive, and also, that did seek out love and joy in places. And so for me, liking myself has meant leaving the ashram to connect with the person who I was before I've had these experiences of divinity, and live that life and like that person. To like the person whose favorite pastime was snorkeling in the ocean, climbing mountains. I don't have so much energy for climbing mountains these days, but the kind of those connect to those things, who was super sociable and liked hanging out with people. These days the connection's more within, but I liked socializing, to like those things, to bring the awareness and acceptance to all those things by kind of having a little go at them again. To bring peace to those places, to see they're okay, to see that they could be gone to and then come back from. Because I think sometimes when you make big life choices and things feel like they're working out better, at least internally, I felt like I gained so much from all these big just choices I made, giving up alcohol, everything that always used to lead to, giving up intoxication, up them with divine bliss. That there's been a fear of all those things that were linked to that person before. There's an association. And that person that made those choices of escaping before was escaping the feeling of not liking. So the way that I'm navigating peace currently is going back to how I lived before and showing myself that there was so much joy in it. That's how I'm finding peace. By allowing that version of myself to be alive and liking her and loving her and remembering what it was all about, removing any judgment and finding safety and sanctuary in it, and showing myself that I can still keep this inner connection that I have cultivated in that space as well. It doesn't have to be in a safety bubble, in the security of a community or an ashram where everyone is living that same mentality. It doesn't have to be isolated. It can be out in the world, living as it lived before, amongst the people that I was living with before, and still feel that wholeness. And it's funny, when I first got to my new little adventure in Bali, it was beautiful. But then when I kind of came back to connect with the ocean, and I realized I hadn't snorkeled in almost 2.5 years. And there was a lot of emotion and resistance that came up. Yeah. But it's this processing and this moving through and this integration, slowly but surely, feeling increasingly whole in increasing places. You were given one human to love. You were given a special set of DNA, of extraordinary combination of events coming together to create you. Your only job is to love it, to love you in its total entirety. Whatever that looks like, however you go about it, it doesn't matter. Just find a way to love and like you. To show yourself that you're worth spending time with. Hang out. Take it soft, slow. Give yourself some grace just to be who you are. May experience how it feels to like yourself. Have a beautiful day.